today's topic, Stephon Tuitt. Another tough one, but I try not to attack individual situations, even though those may make the titles. I generally want to address the broader issues. With McCloskey's, the danger of pulling out weapons on other people because they could have went wrong for them or any other thing. So for Stephon Tuitt, I don't want to completely just attack this young man as much as address this issue that keeps coming up. This one again is a I want to say inner black issue that doesn't get addressed a lot, and that is the issue of immigrant blacks versus I guess for lack of a better term, naturally born blacks here in this country. And the biggest problem I've had, and just a little background, Mr. Tuitt says he's not going to kneel, which is his right. Now, a lot of white players aren't kneeling. People have stated, but when you state your reason, you open your reason up to criticism. And he stated his reason was his grandmother came here from the Caribbean and helped to bring another 20 or so people here legally, has worked very hard and is doing a lot better now. And you play in the NFL. All those things have to do with people kneeling, people standing up. You have to get through your head, and this goes to a lot of the black and brown immigrant community. You have to get through your head, this is a fucking first world fight. Whatever little imperialist feeder nation you came from, this isn't it. You've walked into the mouth of the lion. So often, immigrants come here, and I'm talking black and brown because we know about other immigrant groups, but another big issue that doesn't come up enough, of course, is black and brown immigrants who come here with that same mentality. I'm working hard, I'm going to do better, and have the same attitudes against African Americans. And we're shaking our head because, one, if you're working that damn hard, you wouldn't have to come here. Same thing we tell the people of European descent. No country on earth has rejected hard work. So if you're just such a good hard worker, or if you're just so great at math, you could do it at home. You have to acknowledge that there can be systems of oppression. If you're coming here as a refugee, if you're escaping something, then you've acknowledged that even the best intentions can be defeated by a system. That's why your grandmother's here. That's why your grandfather came. That's why you came. And so when African Americans are fighting way up here, stuff you're talking about would allow you to, if blacks were successful, you wouldn't have to come here. That's the long and the short of it. Because if the United States hadn't helped with policies, if they weren't gutting the country you're coming from, if they didn't have their thumb on this hemisphere, people wouldn't escape from South and Central America or the Caribbean to come here. But you come here, you clean a house, you become a cab driver or whatever else, and you go, well, we're willing to work hard. What the fuck do you think we've been doing for 4 centuries? You know, you're getting as bad as the people of European descent of assuming the people who built this damn country didn't think of that already. So for your grandmother, Mr. Tuitt, to have that opportunity came through great pains from my grandmother and her mother and her mother's grandmother. Having to do whatever that generation's form of kneeling was. If they were unsuccessful, your grandmother doesn't make it here and you don't play in the NFL and you don't get to deny kneeling as a good gesture. You know, so many people, Europeans excluded, because they're lectured enough, don't understand those opportunities are afforded to you oftentimes at the expense of the blacks that are already here, or from the hard work, the riches that this and opportunities that this country extends to people came from the wealth from the black people that were already here. You don't get to come here because it's better and they can give you grants and this opportunity. That's blood grants. That's blood opportunity. That's at the expense of those people that you were trying to look down on. In the 90s, there was two cases in New York. Abner Louima, a Haitian, and Amadou Diallo from West Africa, Guinea. One was sodomized by the police. Diallo, of course, was murdered by the police. The protests, again, were filled in by African Americans. We stand against oppression. We stand against oppression when they're doing things to the country you come from. We stand against oppression when they're doing it to Haiti. Before you come down here and look down your nose at naturally born Americans. The shit that you're doing, we already accomplished that. We're in a first world fight. We're not looking just to go to school. We're looking for freedom in the first world. If we accomplish freedom here as black people in the first world, that affects our policies globally. That affects the Palestinians. That affects the continent of Africa. That affects the Caribbean. So for you to have the nerve to sit here and benefit off the blood, sweat, and tears of African Americans and then say you won't stand with them because your grandmother came here and worked hard, brother, you don't fucking understand a goddamn thing about this fucking country. Anytime our president says something negative about black and brown nations, it's African Americans in government who speak up. It's African Americans who temper American policies against the countries you have to escape, because you have to escape them due to sanctions or them being gutted or us propping up some fucking corrupt leader in your country. But you don't understand that. You just look on the website, see some paperwork. Oh, I can go over there and get a grant. Oh, I can go to school or whatever else. I'm taking advantage of it. I'm much more harder worker than... No, you're not. No, you're not. All any immigrant group that comes here is doing is abandoning their own fucking people. As African Americans, as badly as we're treated, there's no America for us to escape to. There's no better country for us to go to. We understand black people aren't treated much greater in Germany, France, the UK, Africa, any damn where else. You have somewhere to go. These are our oppressors. Where the fuck do you think we're going? Where? Where's the other America? Where's the America for us? We have to stay and fight. We don't just get to pack our shit and dip on our people. We stay and fight. And we've been fighting for 4 centuries so that black immigrants can come here, so that brown immigrants can come here and then shit on us. But it's all right, because we're about freedom. But for you to dismiss that and turn your nose up to it, for the people who have fought and died to give you the opportunity that you enjoy, who gave your grandmother the opportunity that she's enjoyed, and those other 20 family members, you better get your priorities in order. Because the point is, we're the massive group. So everybody's getting in right now. The Native Americans getting their punches in. Women are getting their rights thrown in. Gays are getting their rights thrown in. Everybody gets to get their rights thrown in whenever there's a black civil rights movement. Because there's the moral legitimacy, and the disabled got in on civil rights. Old white men got on civil rights. White women benefited from civil rights. Because you have that moral validity of the mistreatment of African American males and African American women. It is not something the Caribbean American community can fucking do anything with this country about. So if you let us oppress us, they're not going to separate you. They're not going to know you're from the Caribbean. You're just big and black. So you need to figure it out. As usual, fuck you. Don't need you to subscribe. Don't give a fuck about your comments. I'm a grown-ass man, so my life doesn't revolve around likes. I'm just some guy, and only I know what's best. Have a great day.